My name is Gus Walters. I was diagnosed with colon cancer. I started playing in garage bands when I was 14 years old. One of the first hardcore emo bands in Buffalo, New York, by the name of Evergreen. I've been playing in a number of local bands since then, one of them being At the Helm and Dirty Smile, as well as another SoCal punk rock band called Murder. Playing music is lifeblood for me. It's one of those things that just getting out of the car, walking into a garage with all your buddies, you have one of those Buffalo Blue High Skies, and that first chord just ringing throughout the neighborhood. 10 minutes later, neighbors opening the doors, asking what the hell is going on, and then transferring that to a live venue where everyone is there to partake and succumb to the magic that you're putting out there. One of the best feelings in the world. The routine colonoscopy that I had put off for 2 years, and it was one of those, everything was getting in the way of it. I kept kind of pushing it off, thinking like, man, my work is going too difficult right now. I cannot take the time to do this. And I'd have my primary visits every September, and they're like, you got to do this. They've lowered the age now to 46. I just turned 50, and that was when I was 48 at the time. They had mentioned that I should be going. Didn't go the first year, didn't go the second year. Then I saw in my Facebook feed a buddy of mine who runs a lot of the local shows, really established promoter. He had been diagnosed with colon cancer, and his had jumped. Seeing that, and he was only a year or two older than me, I decided to go and get it done. I went in on October 17th to have this routine colonoscopy, and it ended up right at post-op. They said, well, we got 2 polyps. One was a small one was a little bit bigger, and you have colon cancer. Sorry to have to tell you this way, was how it was pretty bluntly put to me. And my wife next to me gasped, and I just kind of sat there staring like, are you kidding me? How did that happen? What really went through my mind was my daughter, and how I was going to lay this on her feet and then have her deal with it. I knew that my wife would support me, but having to tell her that I might not be around, that was kind of probably the hardest part of the entire process. Just having been told that I had colon cancer and then not knowing if it had spread yet, that was probably one of the most gut-wrenching things that I had to deal with, was not knowing how bad it was. In my case, it went by very quickly because I was at work probably 7 days after the diagnosis, and I got a call out of the blue from the surgeon's office saying they have an opening. Usually it's about a 4-week wait, and they said, well, we can have you in here in 10 days. That is when I think the emotional part of it hit me, is because, oh, this is actually happening now. As soon as I got home, it was, thankfully for, the support of my wife, who's very, she's a teacher, so she's always organized. She's my biggest advocate, so she absolutely helped me, 1,000%. The day of the surgery, went in, and it's a very claustrophobic feeling, just being laid out and you're being prepped. I think my surgery was 3 hours long. I went in at 12:30. I was out by 3:30. I was finally in my room by 6 o'clock. The surgery, even though in that first hour or two post, all it was basically like fire and pain, it was totally gone 6 hours later, to the point where a nurse had me up and walking around, doing laps around the ward. The way that these surgeries are done nowadays, it's a miracle of science, and that they can take you, they can take things out of you, and then you're up and walking around, less than 24 hours, after that. But as far as like, emotional state goes, there's still a lot of fear. I had, in my case, I was very lucky. I had a lot of support, a ton of family and friends just reaching out constantly, asking how I was, and I felt very, very lucky and blessed in that regard. Recently, I spoke to my surgeon, and he had news for me that pathology had came back, that the cancer did not perforate the colon wall. He said the words, "I'm cured." Through the surgery, did it. That's a 95 to 97% success rate. In my case, stage 1. And now I'm seeing an oncologist for a lifetime of monitoring. I'll be doing a colonoscopy in 1 year, 3 years after that, another colonoscopy, and then 5, and then it's every, so often after that. Screening, colonoscopies, though, those are the things that don't take a lot of time out of your day to get done. It's a literal 24-hour procedure, and colon cancer is in the top 3 cancers that you can get. It's a slow-moving one. So if you can catch it early, you can 100% go through 6 weeks of hell, go from 0 to 100, back down to 0, in my case. And I want that for everybody. It really does make you appreciate your family and friends a lot more. You see who comes out to support immediately. Music sounds better, food tastes better. It really is an eye-opening experience to go from just living to you're not going to live possibly very much longer to you got lucky, so make the most of it. And that's where, that's kind of where I'm at with it right now.